Hi, welcome to the Night Shifters Hub. My name is Dami, and on this channel, we basically talk about everything relating to night shift lifestyle and the night shift work. Today, we're going to be talking about sleep, and as you know, sleep is a very important subject when it comes to humans generally, and it's now more important when it's talked about as it relates to night shift work and night shift workers. This is because we tend to not get enough sleep and we work against our body's natural circadian rhythm, and circadian rhythm being the body's natural clock that tells our body what time to sleep and what time to wake up. Naturally, our circadian rhythm works with daylight and sunlight, and during the day, it tells our body to be active, to wake up and do things, while when it's sunset at night, our body's supposed to rest and sleep. But because we work the night shifts, it's the other way around. We tend to reprogram this biological clock, so we're able to stay awake at night and try and sleep during the day, which, as you find out in the rest of the video, causes a whole lot of problems health wise and lifestyle wise. So let's get into it. So to start with, sleep is a natural reversible state of rest where the body and the brain slows down to repair, restore, and rejuvenate itself. So in the process of sleep, our body is able to slow itself down, is able to repair damaged tissues and other parts of the body system that it can repair by itself, and also rejuvenate our body from stress, from fatigue, and just being tired, if I'm being correct. There are two types of sleep. We have the non-REM sleep and the REM sleep. The non-REM sleep is majorly for physical restoration, and this is a light kind of sleep. This is like taking a nap, a power nap, a short quick nap before your night shifts. This is not the real sleep, if I'll say like that. It's just a short, let me quickly lay my head down, let me relax a bit kind of sleep. While the REM sleep, on the other hand, is the deep sleep, the crucial, very important sleep cycle that you get to dream. And this sleep state is responsible for memory, learning, and our emotional balance. This deep sleep is kind of sleep that is able to, the body is able to get enough rest, is able to store the ROM, the pre-memory, is able to store it into deep memory state. So yes, you're able to now remember something deeply, not just passing information. Now, your guesses are good as mine. For night shift workers, we seldom get to have the REM kind of sleep, unless probably we are on our off days or we don't go to work in a long while and we're able to sleep. But majority do not get to enjoy the REM sleep, and that is also one of the causes of some of those issues that we have as night shift workers. Moving on, quality sleep allows the brain to process information, the body to heal, and it also helps to strengthen our immune system. Now imagine you don't have enough sleep, your body is unable to process information, your body is unable to heal, and your immune system is also going to take a lot of it, because you definitely fall sick if you have a very weak immune system. So sleep is very important. And looking at it, why do many night shifters not get enough sleep? Is an interesting question. And off the top of my head, I'll say it's just because we work the night shifts. But we also have to survive. So why do we not get enough sleep? This is because night shift schedules clash with the body's circadian rhythm, That's, as I mentioned earlier, our internal biological clock. And this misalignment is the major reason why we don't get enough sleep. Added to the fact that environmental distractions during the day when we come back from our shifts and we want to sleep, the environment is noisy, the sun is shining, people are moving around, a delivery person is coming to deliver stuffs in the apartment. There is a whole lot of things going on during the day, and these distractions make it hard for us night shifters to be able to sleep or get enough sleep. Also, we have the societal pressures. The society generally, they don't rate night shift workers. They don't see us as doing something huge or something important, and they just believe, oh, since you are back from work now, let's get to it, let's do something, forgetting that we need those time for ourselves to sleep because they've had their own 8 hours of sleep. So activities like family duties, childcare, errands, your friends calling you or buzzing you up to go for brunch, to go for lunch, things like that also causes us not to have enough sleep because there is a tendency to how you can say no, that it doesn't lead to conflict. This now causes a lot of us night shifters to go along with it at the detriment of our sleep and our rest. Also, shift rotation and long hours is another reason why we don't get enough sleep. Most night shifters don't get a fixed pattern shift, and by this I mean going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for example. Most night shift workers, on the other hand, have rotating shifts hours that you might go to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday today. Next week, you might go Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Is a rotating scatter shift pattern, and this causes our body not to have a scheduled sleeping time, a pattern that you can get used to. So you sleep today, you don't sleep tomorrow, you sleep next tomorrow, you don't sleep 2 days. This causes the misalignment I talked about earlier, and it just confuses the whole body system, making us not to get enough sleep. Also, stress and fatigue. Night work can increase stress hormones, making it harder to fall asleep when tired. Just the way our body is confused, the hormones in our body, it also throws it into what is called hormonal imbalance. For everyone, for women, they tend to have on and off cycles, cramps, and all those things. For men, it might just be inability to fall asleep, it might be headache, it might be even still feeling tired after falling asleep. The body system is so confused that you have hormonal imbalance and everything is thrown into chaos. Having said that, those are just some of the reasons, and I believe that sums it all. Now, looking at the effects of lack of sleep, in short, lack of sleep causes a whole lot of health, relational, mental effects, and I've broken it down into the physical, the mental, and the work performance effects. But the work performance also aligns with you being in a balanced physical mental state and your general well-being. Of course, if you're not feeling fine, you cannot work, or even if you do try to work, you can't work optimally. So looking at chronic sleep deprivation, especially among night shift workers, causes a whole lot of serious consequences ranging from physical health, mental health, and emotional health. Now, looking at the physical health effects of it, first one is weakening the immune system. Lack of sleep, because the body does not have enough time to, in the previous definition, as I said, to rest, repair, and rejuvenate itself, your immune system is going to be weakened, and this inadvertently causes you to fall sick. You get the flu, you get cough, you get catarrh, you have constant headaches, You come in contact with someone that is sick, and straight up you also start feeling sick. Meanwhile, if you have enough sleep, your body will have a very strong immune system, and it can fight off bacteria by itself without you needing to do anything or taking medication. Also, there's increased risks of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases, health diseases. Now, for doctors and nurses, the way to explain this like in detail, but in short, if you don't get enough sleep, there's tendency that your body is not able to break down food as it should, which leads your body to storing fats. There's something called the visceral fats, where you just see a lot of bloating around your tummy because the body is not digesting foods properly and it's just storing it because, as I said earlier, it's not getting enough rest for it to be able to carry out these processes. So you find out that you are overweight. Some people have diabetes because sugar levels are off the roof, and heart diseases like stroke, hypertension, high blood pressure, and things like that, which is why sleep is very important. Also, there's hormonal imbalances and gastrointestinal problems as a result of improper digestive processes. Now, to the mental and emotional effects, if you don't sleep enough, you and I, I'm sure at some point in time, we've passed through this phase of not sleeping enough, and we can testify to some of the side effects. For example, being irritable, being anxious, and having mood swings is something that happens to me, and I'm sure it does to you at some point when you didn't get enough sleep. You just find out that little things get to you, and you don't know the reason why. Things you would probably overlook, or things that would not get a reaction from you on a normal day, you tend to flare up at it. You tend to get defensive. You get into fights over little things. This is not your fault, and I'll just say it's as a result of not getting enough sleep. So if you want to be less irritable, you want to be less anxious, and you want to work on having mood swings, you should get enough sleep. On the mood swing part, some people, whether they get enough sleep or not, they just have mood swings. It's just their type of person. But if you are not that type of person, then if you see that you're having mood swings and you're being irritable, first thing you should look into it is getting enough sleep. That might just solve it. Also, impaired memory and concentration. Now that's interesting because some few weeks ago I was having a back-to-back shifts, night shifts, and I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was coming from shifts in the morning, and I met an old pal of mine. We're having a conversation, just catching up, how you doing, and all those things. And the person he asked to exchange contacts, and I forgot my phone number. It was an awkward situation because I was typing wrong numbers 2 3 times and I wasn't getting it right. And at the end, I had to just pass my phone to dial his number and call and just to get out of the situation. And I just said to myself, okay, this is it, and this is unhealthy. Because how would I forget something as little as minute as my phone number? This is not the first time it has happened, and I'm sure some of you or some of us have also come through that experience before, whereby because you are not sleeping enough, you notice you have a mental fog, you are forgetful, you can't concentrate. Maybe you are supposed to read a line in a communique from your work or a memo from your workplace, and you find out you have to read it 2 3 4 times for you to process and get the information that is being passed across. That is what lack of sleep is going to do to you. So try and get enough sleep. Also, slower reaction times. And sometimes these slower reaction times might lead to big incidents in the workplace. For example, some of our night shift comrades that do warehouse jobs, forklift drivers, HGV drivers, even doctors and nurses. I mean, even everyone that works night shifts, we do the type of work that is so important that we can't afford to make mistakes. And slower reaction times, lack of concentration, mental fog, forgetfulness, these mental effects of lack of sleep can skyrocket into something that causes a whole lot of problems, hazard, accidents that might even cause loss of lives and destruction of properties, which is why it is very important to rest, especially for us night shift workers. We can't afford to make errors, we can't afford to make mistakes. Also, in addition to that, there is reduced decision making ability, and that just follows in line because you are not operating optimally. Your decision making skills is going to be like zero. It's going to be below par because you can't process information properly. You can't make right decisions, and this skyrockets into work performance effects, decreased alertness, high risk of errors, low productivity. These are basically the effects of the mental side effects of not having enough sleep. You are tired, you are forgetful, you can't process information, you can't concentrate. These are major issues that, if it compounds, it might lead to more pressing issues that you might now need to get professional help, or it might get you in trouble at work that you might get laid off or face disciplinary actions. So prioritize sleep. And as I said, there's a quote here that says, sleep is not a luxury, it's a biological necessity. And that's on period. Sleep is very important. I can't overemphasize it enough. It's important for everybody, but for us night shifters, it is doubly important. Like the importance squared into powers of millions. It is very, very important. So back to it. The importance of sleep for night shift workers. I think we've touched on that, but just to reiterate, high quality sleep ensures that we can function properly, safely, and effectively. And this helps because it helps us to restore our physical energy levels. You find out that if you sleep, so let's say you've been out of work in the morning and you are going to work at night, and you get to have enough deep sleep, or you get to have a restorative sleep, you find out that when you go to work the next evening, you are you feel refreshed, you feel rejuvenated, you are present and you can work. Unlike when you don't get enough sleep and you are going to work, you feel that you are tired, you are laggy, you even don't want to go to work, but just because you have to, you drag yourself out of bed, you drag yourself to work, you just turn up for the sake of turning up, and you also just push through the night as much as you can using caffeine and other tricks. Also, it helps us sleep. Having enough sleep helps us as night shift workers to stabilize our emotions. You find out if you sleep enough, you are not irritable, you are not emotional, you are able to balance your moods. It helps our cognitive functioning. You're able to think properly, make proper decisions. You're able to assimilate information. You're able to process information in a fast and proper manner. Improves our immunity. You don't just fall sick. And also, just so you know, us night shift workers, we are prone to falling sick a whole lot more than our day shift counterparts. And it's just science. Our immune system is weak because our body is thrown into confusion, the improper balance of it, whereby our body, our hormones are imbalanced, and we go through a lot of phases, not sleeping enough, our diet, and also our immune system is not as strong as it's supposed to be, so we tend to fall sick. Now compound that with not having enough sleep, that's just double trouble. So for you to have an improved immune system, try and get enough sleep. Also, for our long-term health, everything adds up to one different units. Your health, your mental, your physical health, your mental health, your moods, your mental alertness, processes and all, everything comes together to form the whole unit. And lack of sleep is like the pin that holds, or sleep is the pin that holds everything together. So imagine the pin is not there, you're not getting enough sleep, everything is in chaos. Now, if you sleep enough, you're able to reduce burnout and what's it called, fatigue related incidents. As I said, if you sleep enough, you'll be able to function properly. If you don't sleep enough, you make errors, you forget things, and that can lead to incidents that would be very hazardous. So, for night shift workers, prioritizing sleep is very essential for performance, safety, and for general well being. Don't forget that. Having said all this, why is important, why we lack enough sleep, we should look at how do we get enough sleep as night shift workers. And it's very simple. How do you get enough sleep? It's by putting your head down and sleeping, or force yourself to sleep. Just make sure you sleep. I have a few tips or a few suggestions that I think would help us to have restorative sleep. Now, I know it's challenging to sleep. I myself, I go through phases where I'm unable to sleep or can't sleep because, of course, life also comes at you and things happen that you be unable to sleep. Maybe incidents, you are thinking of something, you are trying to work out and that stuff. Be that as it may, you have to be very intentional when it comes to resting and sleeping as a night shift worker. And the first thing to do is have a consistent sleep schedule. And by this I mean our body is thrown into irregular sleep patterns because of our work. That's a known fact. But as much as it is, we should try and have a semi-structured sleep schedule. So for me, I work a 12-hour shift, 8 to 8. I get home 9 past 9 sometimes. I tend to everything I want to do and sleep by 10. That's a structure that I tend to keep. I'll sleep from 10 till afternoon, late afternoon sometimes if I don't have things to do. It's also advisable that this structure you keep it even on your off days. But of course, that is an advice, but sometimes you might, maybe 1 or 2 days, because you know, okay, maybe you're not going to work or your rest days and you can sleep enough at night and all those things. But at least try as much as possible to have a structured sleep pattern that social period. Okay, so I'm going to work 3 days in a row. For these 3 days, I'm going to be sleeping 10 to 4, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, 10 a.m. to 4 period, and try as much as possible to keep that window for sleep. That way, your body gets used to it and it's easier for you to fall asleep properly. Also, before your shift, try and take a short nap. This short nap is to like add up to your sleep and also make you alert for your night shift itself. So a short power nap after you've done your normal sleep, before you go to work, take a short power nap, 20-30 minutes. This is just so you are not tired at work, you're able to stay active. And of course, once you're active at work in the morning when you are off work, you should be able to fall asleep properly because you've not been snoozing throughout the night. This third point is very important, and that's the concept of the wind down routine. Some of you might have come across it. If you've been watching some of my videos, I've spoken about this wind down routine. Wind down routine is the process of you putting your body in a state where it's ready for sleep. So you know how you are off shift and there's this energy that, oh yes, I'm done with this shift. Yeah, eager, your blood is pumping. You are just happy that you are done with the shift. Now that mood, you feel, oh, you have energy, If you go without mood, you will not be able to sleep because blood is pumping, your adrenaline is high. Now brings the concept of wind down routine is for you to put your body in a state of semi rest and preparation for sleep. Some of the activities that are recommended that I can also recommend is for you to read, take a warm shower, read a book, listen to slow messages, meditate, something that is going to calm you down and prepare you for proper sleep. Interestingly, for me, my wind down routine is to watch an episode of any series I'm watching at a particular point in time. It works for me. Sometimes I also read, but majorly because I start my wind down routine immediately I leave work, and that is watching movie because it makes me forget everything that has happened during my shifts, and I'm tuning myself into the fact that, oh, okay, now I'm relaxed, I'm going home. I love watching movies, so that's what I do. It distresses me, and then once I get home, I'm able to sleep and do everything I want to do. So pick a wind down routine that works for you, stick to it, and always try and do it so that you'll be able to get enough sleep. Point number 4, caffeine. I know most of us during our night shifts we take a little bit of or a lot of caffeine just to stay awake. Now this point says before the end of your shift, 4 to 6 hours before your shift is going to end, try and not take any more caffeine because this will now linger past the end of your shift, and you find out even at the end of shifts you are still unable to sleep. For you to counter that, stop taking caffeine, anything caffeine, coffee, energy drinks, 4 to 6 hours before the end of your shift. So the effect wears off as you're getting off shift and you're able to sleep. Now, last but not the least is your sleep environment. When you get home, make sure your house or your bedroom is tidy, calm, cool, and dark enough that you're able to fall asleep. It's not filled with clusters, it's not hot, too hot or too warm. It's in a proper temperature that once you get to bed, you're able to fall asleep. It's calm, the environment is cool, it's quiet, it's dark enough for you to sleep. Now I'll go into what helps us night shift workers sleep better, and I'll touch on some of these things already, but just to add to it, we have the environmental aids, we have the lifestyle habits, and we have supplements. Oh yeah, supplements is a very important one because not everybody. I'm lucky enough that if I put my head on the bed, I'm able to fall asleep. If I really want to sleep, once I close my eyes, I'm lucky enough to be able to sleep. Not everybody is like that, and some people, probably due to health reasons or some other stuff, they are unable to sleep without the help of medications or some supplements or helps or something they need to do just to fall asleep. So first of all, talking about the environmental aids, we have the blackout curtain or eye masks, and this is to block sunlight. Definitely by the time you are coming off shifts, for most of us it's already bright, it's daytime, everywhere is bright, everybody is active. So for you to be able to mask the environment of darkness, for your body to fall into the state of sleep, you need that blackout curtains to make your room dark. You need the eye mask. If you don't want the blackout curtain, the eye mask for you to be able to sleep is very essential. And if you know it's going to work for you, try it out, use it, and be able to get enough sleep. In addition, there's a white noise machine or the earplugs, and this is to reduce noise. Some people stay in an environment that is very noisy, and you can imagine during the day how noisy it is. Cars are passing by, people are walking on the streets, your neighbor is mowing his or her lawn, somebody is screaming and shouting, people are driving by, everybody's active, going about their activities. You can't blame them. It is daytime, but it's noisy and you need to sleep. So, what can you do to help yourself sleep? The white noise machine blocks out external noise. So, you are listening to something that calms you down, makes you able to sleep. Also, there are earplugs for those that are comfortable with that. For those that are not, we have the noise cancellation headphones. This also does the same thing and it will make you block out the noise and be able to sleep. Make sure your room is also cool. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. For those that are in hot climates, open the windows, get an AC, get a very good fan that makes your room very warm. For those in a very cold climate, you can put on the heater a little bit just to make it the ideal temperature for you to sleep. Not too warm, not too cold. Lifestyle habits, hydration is very important. If you don't drink enough water, you might have headaches, you might be uncomfortable, you might not be able to sleep. So hydration is very important, especially if you've taken loads of caffeine during the night to stay awake. It is advisable for you to drink water, and by being hydrated does not mean you should take fuzzy drinks or drinks filled with sugar and other harmful contents. Water is advisable and is well recommended. So drink water, enough of it that at least you feel relaxed and able to sleep. But also make sure it's not too much so that when you are sleeping, you don't start waking up to go to the toilet for a wee. Eat healthy light meals. Now that is also important. Most people after the night shifts, of course, during the night we tend to go very hungry, and most people just hold it that once I'm off shift I can get something to eat. But the mistake is getting a lot on your plate when you finally get to eat. A lot of people, as a result of the hunger, just want to eat as much as they can to fill their bellies, which is not advisable because you can't get enough proper sleep when your stomach is overfull with food or foods with high sugar contents and fats. Now, the advice is if you want to eat before you sleep, eat something light, eat something with protein, lots of protein, just so your body is able to break it down and you're able to sleep comfortably and not too much. Well, the last one is funny, but it's true. Don't drink alcohol before you sleep because it disrupts your deep REM states of sleep. And there's a law that says don't drink until noon. And I'm very sure most of you will not stay awake till noon if you are going to work like the previous night. But just to put it out there, don't drink alcohol in the morning, especially before you sleep, as you might not be able to get proper sleep. Then to the topic of supplements, I'm sure for those that are on supplements or those that medically need aids to fall asleep, your doctor has advised the best pill, the best gadgets, the best trick for you to fall asleep. So try to continue to do what has been prescribed by your doctor. For some of us that our sleep problem is not as sophisticated as that, you have the option of using melatonin supplements to aid your sleep. You can use magnesium supplements. If you Google these things, there are lots out there, but don't do too much of it so that you don't get hooked on it and then you can't sleep without using these supplements. They are supplements, not solutions to lack of sleep. It's just to aid you to sleep. And as previously said, your sleep environment is also important. Aids that you can use: blackout curtains, noise cancellation headphones, keep your environment cool, tidy, enough. I think that sums it up for this issue of sleep. Tips and recommendation: have your sleep sanctuary, keep it nice, quiet, tidy. Communicate with family and friends about your sleep period. Now that's important because most of us bow to societal pressures. We want to come true for our family, we want to come true for our friends at the detriment of our health. We just tend to play along and go with it. But it is advisable, it is recommended that you set boundaries with your friends and families. You let them know, so so period is my sleep window. I will not be able to answer your calls. I will not be able to run errands. I will not be able to go out with you because I want to rest and sleep. And I'm sure they would understand. But you need to set these boundaries so that it doesn't lead to miscommunication and fights along the way. Also, have a sleep schedule and try and maintain it even on your off days. Also, set important tasks for when you are alert and you are awake. This is also important for those that drive, especially after the night shifts. Be very careful if you find out that you are too sleepy or too tired to drive. Ask a friend or a colleague for a ride. Take public transportation or call an Uber. You don't have to drive so that you don't fall asleep and crash or get into an accident or hit someone. You need to be responsible and you need to also be very careful. So if you find out that you are not capable to do these things, and it's not also driving, it might also be when you get home, you are trying to cook a meal, but you sit down on the sofa, and because you are so tired, you fall asleep. You might set the whole house on fire. To prevent that, make sure that important tasks that needs your 100% alertness are only done when you are awake and fully alert. Thank you. Also, try relaxation techniques: deep reading, meditation, warm showers to also help you sleep. And don't forget, the most important aspect of it is, even if after doing all this that I've spoken about, you've done a lot of research and you've tried different things, you've tried using supplements, you've tried noise cancellation mask, you've tried drinking water, eating light, you've made your environment cool, dark, and nice, and these things are still not working, I would advise to seek professional help. And the earlier you do that, the better, before things skyrocket and turn out to have caused more harm than it should. And learn to ask for help. There's no shame in asking for help. And if you see that things are getting out of hand, always seek professional help or talk to somebody. On these few notes, I hope I've been able to do justice to the topic of sleep. And as a night shift worker, just like I am, you've been able to learn one or two about sleep as it relates to the night shift work. So now you do something for me, which is to like, subscribe, and type a comment. Let us know how your night shift has been going, how you've been able to manage your sleep, how you've been coping with sleep problems, how you've been able to stay awake, so that I can learn and few other night shift workers can also learn. And in doing so, all of us will be able to improve our night shift life. So thank you very much for staying till the end, and see you in the next one. Love you. Peace out.